Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of French auction portal International. We're going to have a look at the latest auction from Milan Auction House, or Apollium as some may know it. They're somehow connected. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but in any case we're going to have a look at it on here because on the Apollium website they only have like one picture for an instrument, so it's a bit strange. So we are going to do it on here instead. This is quite a big auction. They happen a few times a year. It's quite popular with people. They have some nice stuff, and there's 341 lots, so it's quite a lot. We're going to try and get through it as quickly as possible, but it might take a while because, like I said, there is some interesting stuff here. 25% buyer's premium that you pay on top of the final hammer price, pretty standard. And this auction is finishing on the 30th of March. It's the 29th today, so not too long left to go. I'll put a link in the description. It's been super busy recently, so I've not been able to tackle it as early as I would have liked to. So just before we get started, I'd like to say please consider subscribing if you like these videos, or like or comment, because it really does help the channel. So yeah, let's crack on. And just to say, this is a French auction, so if you're based outside of France or outside of Europe, bear in mind import and export fees and any CITES kind of stuff. So we've got a French violin. This thing's made by Colin Mazat. 1500 to 2000 is the estimate. Looks like a nice looking violin. Interestingly, on the Apollium site you can see the live bidding already. It's a really weird situation, but on the Apollium site all you get is one picture, the picture of the front of the violin, or the front of the instrument. It's really quite odd. I don't understand exactly why that is. Anyway, French violin in the style of Corsair, made with as a Pietro Guarnerius copy. Interesting. Yeah, this is weird. It's also saying that it's a German violin, so I think they're a bit confused here what's going on here. But 1000 to 1200, so it's quite a nice looking violin actually. I think that's pretty nice, so quite a decent one. French violin 20th century, the Chardon label, also fairly nice looking, so they're doing well so far. It's a good auction. J. Heidi, this is a Chinese violin, so we don't need to go into that. This is, I think, a standard kind of trade violin there, yeah, of a kind of in fairly good condition. This is an interesting violin, probably Flemish, 3,000 to 4,000 euros. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I like that. 3 to 4. It's a really interesting violin. What else do we have here? Anonymous French violin, 19th century. Yep, 2.5 to 3. French violin by Marcel Demy. And French violin by Gustave Villaume, 2 to 3000. Not related to the Villaume family. Anonymous violin with an Enrico Marchetti label. Pretty curious scroll and outline on that one. French violin, Corsair school, 1500 to 2000. I like those. French violin by Charles Bailey. Kind of good quality French violin there. Oh, I've gone ahead of myself. A violin, probably Italian, 20th century. Stamp Vitale Giuseppe. Okay. French violin, Lebert. This kind of standard stuff here. French violin, Emile Blondelet. Interesting mixture of different photos there. Fairly standard. Emile Puzol. Looks okay. This is interesting. Probably Tyrolean 19th century violin, 800 to 1200. It's one with a crazy high arching. You do see these quite a lot on eBay and on Facebook kind of marketplace. Really crazy F holes, super high arching. I've always wondered what they sound like, but I think most people kind of stay away from them. Breton violin, pretty standard kind of French. Looks like it's had a bit of trouble in the past. With the Mircore violin, I think we can just skip through that. French violin in the style of Corsin, 800 to 1200. 19th century German violin with a Presender label. Had some work done. Looks kind of curious. Interesting. Iranian violin bearing the label Made in Tehran in 1939 by S. Arakelian. Okay, interesting violin. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen an Iranian made violin before. Shame that it has kind of this funky head, because actually the outline of the violin itself looks quite nice. 800 to 1200 euros, so that's an interesting one. 19th century violin. Oh, another one with a crazy head. So I like a nice lion head, but heads with people, not so keen unless it's on like a viola d'amore or some kind of viol, but even then. French violin by Amédée Dodone, 1500 to 2000. That's standard kind of French stuff. More French violin, standard. German viola by Ernst Heinrich Roth, 3.5 to 4000. Looks in fairly good condition. These super popular with our American friends. A German viola modelled after George Klotz, 6 to 800. That's quite nice looking. 400mm. Yeah, it's fairly good size. Quite nice. I quite like that. Gewa viola. This is kind of a modern one. Another modern viola there. Let's have a look. It's got a label Avenio 1934. It's actually quite interesting. Anonymous 19th century viola with a sans serifin label. Quite good pictures. Half-size cello. I think we can skip that one. Oh, look at this. Student cello. Rectangular prototype cello. 5 strings. That's pretty cool looking. Quite like that. 100 to 200 euros to be restored. Very cool. French cello there. 6 to 800 euros. Needs a lot of work. I think that's got real potential though. So interesting. French cello by Amédée Dodone, 8 to 12,000 euros. French cellos really popular at the moment at any level. French and English cellos. Anonymous modern cello. Interesting elements of that. 1500 to 2000. Frechner cello here. Always interesting stuff in Apollium. I think a lot of dealers buy from Apollium. 3 to 4. Well, they buy from all the auction houses, but I think a lot of dealers do like them. Another 3/4 there. Here we've got some interesting documents, which I'm going to skip for the moment, just because we have so many things to look at. Let's stick to instruments, I think. Finger softener device. That's what's interesting. Got some bows here. Prosper Colas. Cuneo Huri. Let's see what else we got here. Louis Morizot, JTL. We can't see all the pictures here, but we can carry on. Let's have a look at this one. Violin bow, probably made by Charles Picat. Nice, good close-up pictures. I do like those. Another violin bow, Lapierre. Mircore bows there. It's a shame that they have this as the main picture. It'd be better if it was a bit different, but we can see here lots of different French bows. Let's have a look at this. Style of Pajot, or style of Mare. 1500 to 2000. More bows here. Let's have a look at this violin bow by Pierre Malin. That's an octagonal stick there. 800 to 1200. More Mircore bows there. Some German stuff. See if there's anything. Let's have a look at this Mircore with an octagonal stick. Nothing too crazy there, but lots of bows, as you can see. French viola bow, 19th century. Let's just have a look at what's going on here. Looks a little bit rough around the edges there. Oh, a Baroque cello bow, okay. Partly early 19th century ironwood. Head restored. Interesting bow. Let's see what else we got here. Conductors, batons. Let's actually have a look at this cello bow made by Peter J. Mack. Okay. More batons here. Quite interesting. Oh, loads of batons actually. Anyway, back to instruments. French violin looks fairly standard. Mircore violin, early 20th century, we can skip that. Breton, we can go past that. Another, let's have a look at this actually. Let's have a look at the Mircore violin. Oh, is that the only picture that we've got? Okay. 20th century German, another Mircore with a Pirot label. Central European violin, 20th century. So we're just taking a bit of a loose kind of adventure through this auction. We're not going too crazy. 19th century German violin with a Montagnana label. Don't think there's anything too super exciting in that. Anonymous French violin, 20th century. Yeah, not too much going on that. More French violins, 20th century here, 20th century German. The first few lots were interesting. Let's have a look at this German violin of the 19th century. Slightly curious looking. More 20th century instruments. Mircore violin there. German violin. Mircore violin, possibly Nicolas Duchesne. More Mircore violin. 19th century. Mircore violin. Let's have a look. One of the lower kind of ones. More JTL, more Mircore. Central European. Robert Lengel. That's really curious. More Mircore stuff here. Central Europe. Violins in the white. Interesting. Half size, more French violins. Let's have a look at this 7/8. The catalogue started really well and it's kind of gone down a bit really. We're just getting lots of French Mircore violins. 19th century. Gellianus label. Mircore violin, one piece back. I do like a one piece back. Pretty standard stuff we're on here now. More French stuff here, more JTL, all of the same. More JTLs. Nothing too crazy. 19th century German violin. Once again, pretty standard. More French kind of stuff. Yep, pretty much the same. Half size. Let's have a look at this German violin. Looks fairly standard as well. 19th century French violin. Once again, that looks fairly standard. More JTL, more French. Nothing too crazy. Central European. Let's have a look at this one. French violin made by Francois Perrin, 19th century, 100 to 200. Looks like it has a nasty sound post crack and a few other cracks there, so that's unfortunate. Interesting half size violin. Baroque back of 2 pieces in maple, not threaded. Okay. Interesting older half size violin there, 100 to 200. Could be quite nice done up. Let's see what else we've got here. French violin Mircore, Baroque of the 19th century. Okay. Interesting. I'm not quite sure exactly what they're saying there. Violin German Mittenwald, the Steiner label. That's quite nice. 4 to 600. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's quite a nice violin. That's one of the nicest ones we've seen for a little while in this auction. In any case, more French violins. Here's a kind of more interesting French violin in the style of Didier Nicolas Ain. Always kind of interesting, these kind of quite upright F holes, quite close to the edge, big rounded kind of bouts. That kind of style of making, I quite like it, but they're usually really big. You saw that was like 365 length the back. So let's have a look. French violin in the style of Chapuis, 19th century, 4 to 500, and so nothing super exciting on that one. French violin, 19th century German, more kind of miracle stuff, nothing too crazy. French violin Nicolas Duchesne, 3 to 400. That's kind of the more modern French style, deep red varnish that we see quite a lot. The JTL. Let's have a look at this one. French violin by Thiriot. That looks fairly standard, kind of better, slightly better French. 3 violins. So 3 of much the same kind of stuff. Loads more instruments there, so I think we can go past that. Some more groups of instruments here, and I think we're in the end of the violins. Got a couple of saxophones here, Selmer saxophones, whole load of flutes. Is there anything crazy? Let's have a look at this. Piccolo, Arlecina and Certi transverse flute. Quite nice. Nice decoration there. Engraved mouthplate. A cone trumpet, silver plated. Hunting horns here, some different trumpet related instruments. Clarinet there, harmonica. An oboe by Tribière, a Paris, 5 to 700, to be restored. Oh, that's a nice nice box. Mandolin there by Agildo. Went to a few guitars here now, nothing looks too exciting so far. It's one of these guitar lutes and a zither. This is interesting though. 18th century Neapolitan mandolin, really nice mandolin, completely screwed, hence the 80 to 120 euro estimate. I mean, a lot of restoration work in that, but that is it's pretty, in its day, that's a really nice violin. You're going to struggle to get that kind of moved anywhere, because that looks like it's tortoise shell all over it, so I don't think it's, might struggle a bit to get that out of France. Renaissance lute, 20th century. Oh, that's quite interesting. Curious, to be restored in this kind of mock ivory kind of decoration at the back. Another mandolin, a lot of random instruments. Half-size violin, epinette, little banjo type thing. Normal guitars, a couple of mandolins, gelas, one with a kind of the double top there. Those are usually quite popular. It's probably worth a bit more than the estimate there. Some more guitars. None of those look too crazy. More guitars. Yeah, nothing here. What on earth is this? Bottom of a luthier. Really can't make out what's going on from this. It looks like different purfling, edge work kind of stuff. The picture's so blurry. Some other bits and pieces. There's bits of bridges and frogs and stuff. I mean, maybe that could have been something to do with bows and things. Really hard to see what's going on. Guitar bridges here. Quite a lot of bridges. Lots of different wood, parts of instruments. Really difficult to make out exactly what's going on here. Clamps and things, and you would have thought you could take a non-blurry picture. Might be handy. Interesting bits of cello. What on earth is this? Okay, a Cora lyre. Ah, interesting. Okay, that's like a kind of modern version of a Cora. I've never seen one like that before. That's actually quite interesting. That's quite cool. Load of wood here. All this veneer. Loads of moulds for guitars and stuff like that. Now we're onto some accordions here. Let's have a look at that accordion. By Paolo Rogledi. That's quite a nice looking accordion there. Some of them are very nice. A cymbalum there. Some music boxes. Now we're on to 8 to the end. Moon guitar. That's quite nice. And an African Cora as opposed to the kind of westernized one we saw a little bit earlier. Let's see what this is. A Vina. Okay. And a small African vielle. Okay, well, that is essentially the auction. We started off quite strong and then it kind of all got a little bit uninteresting really, but there you go. There are some interesting things here at the beginning and a few other non-violin related instruments that are quite nice. A few interesting violins. This one is actually fairly nice looking instrument. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out, see what you think. Thanks a lot for watching, appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.